Talk, Plone 6 Beyond 22. With Victor Fernandez de Alba.
Okay, thanks for attending my talk. My initial goal for this talk is to present to you a number of topics that had arisen during Volto team meetings, things that we have in mind. I mean, especially the Volto team, but also that I've been talking here and there with people, also in our company, and I wanted to transmit to you, to communicate to you, and that you also know what's the things that moved us, that we think that should be those things that we should address in the next years or in short term also, if possible. I will start by taking a short look to the present. So what's the state of Volto, Plone 6 Volto, and how it relates to the Plone 6 final release that is upcoming hopefully soon in the next weeks, months, most probably weeks than months, but yeah. So this is the idea. So Plone 6 LTS will be matched with the Volto version. It's going to be 16.0.0 final, because now we are in the alpha phase still. We are polishing, and we want to add a few more features to that are in the makings. Hopefully they will be merged because they are almost ready during the sprint. But this is an important thing that everybody knows, right? So Plone 6 final will ship with Volto 16. Volto 16 will be the LTS version of Plone 6. And it will have the same treatment as the backend, right? Because at the end, they are the same thing. And we want to treat it as the same thing. So Volto 16 will be LTS, which means that we will have this long-term support that we're planning also for the backend. And let me show you how the releases have been in the last year. We started, quick look with Volto 14, back in December last year. Then we moved quickly to Volto 15 because we had a breaking change with a security issue that we discovered. We fixed it right away. We had Volto 15 quickly released. Then we've been working in Volto 16 since June, approximately, when the Bonn sprint, the Beethoven sprint happened. We introduced a couple of blocking features that we wanted Plone 6 to have. Amongst the most important ones probably will be the adoption of Slate, which is already there. So if you go and try already Volto 16 alpha, the last one is 42 still, that we released before coming to the conference. It's there, you can try it out. It's going to be almost final. It's the one that is in 6.demo.plone.org. Try it out, play with it. It's great. Then, how these releases are going to happen. And this is the last thing that I will say about releases, but I wanted also you to know how it's going to be. So as I said, we're going to have this Volto 16 release that will be LTS, so it will go into the future until we decide that another LTS will be should be released, right? And then we will have what we more or less have now, or we had in the past. So we will have a line, a branch that we will call Volto stable. That is what we all know, the people that already worked in Volto. So we'll have this stable branch, and after release of Volto 16, we will start working on Volto 17 right away. Then we will also create, when the moment comes, that two events won't happen one after another, right? at the beginning, Volto 16 will be stable, right? And then once Volto 17 get this stable label, then it will go where it is here in the chart. Then we will create Volto 18 alpha, and this will be the canary branch that we all know, right, from the last years, this living on the edge version that we have with Volto, right? And this will be more or less the landscape that we will have in Volto releases. Of course, everything that will happen in stable, feature-wise, will be backported to LTS. No breaking changes, of course. Breaking changes only will happen outside LTS. And the same for Canary, right? So only breaking will go into canaries. Features will be ported into 17, well, into the stable branch that you can get more or less a grasp on it. Then, yeah, how this will match with 6.x versions. Yeah, we still have to figure that out and decide when the time comes, but at some point we will say, hey, and this is only an example. It's not something that is going to be true right away, but maybe Volto 18 is going to be Plone 6.1. And we will try to do these matching releases for everybody knows that, yeah, 6.1 goes and works well with 18, only as an example, right? Okay, let's go. Let's do a little bit of exercise. So we have some core features identified in Volto, right? These are the ones, so first the configuration registry, which I think that is the real kernel, so the heart of Volto. And we've been polishing it over time, and yeah, I mean, we think that we have now a good story there. Yeah, then we have the shadowing and the new component registry, which allows us to override existing modules and work in a very flexible way. So say, no, I want this module, but I want to change a small thing. And we even have now the ability, not only going with the shadow option, but also using the component registry, say, no, I want programmatically, depending on one thing or another, that a component is being pulled for the registry and is being used in my code at some point. We think also that this is a very, very powerful and is working, it has been working through all the last years, and this is also very important in Volto. Then we have the add-ons architecture, something that we built and we pour on them all our passion as well. And we think now that we have a real good story of add-ons. You can do in an add-on anything, literally, that you were doing before using a project. So you can have this portability everywhere. You can have add-ons that are themes, and all those kind of things. And we think that is very, very solid, very, very good. Then we have the seamless mode and internal proxy that we are also very happy with it. We got it wrong the first time, but yeah, that's life. We finally managed to get it right. It's working well. We have it in production. The new traversal is amazing. Thanks, Jens, for it. Yeah. Now, with Seamless, we also have builds that are no longer dependent into build time environment variables. We can do a build. It runs and can be configured on the fly everywhere. That also improved our Docker container images. Yeah, so I think that this is also a solid one. Then we have the routing, which is important. Data fetching, the server-side rendering, the theming, and the Pastanaga editor, finally. Yeah, I went quick through these last ones because I will come later to each of them, a little bit later. So identifying this came when I tried to do an exercise. So I tried to get one of the next big kids on the block, which is Next.js, and I said, okay, what if we want now to build Volto in Next.js. Right? Next.js, you know, is this framework that is founded immensely, and it's owned by Versal now, and everybody in the industry of JavaScript is hiring. Versal is hiring everybody in the community, and it's a very nice tool for the job. It has an extremely amazing server that does a lot of things, although it has other limitations. But I said, yeah, okay, if I had to implement Volto in Next.js, what I will need to get from Volto, extract it, and port it into Next.js. And all these kind of things needs to be there, right? The same with Remix. I don't know if anybody has thought. Is the other new kid on the block? Remix and the Remix guys, a lot of buzz in the community also. We will have to do the same. So get these features ported to Remix. What will happen, right? The thing is that after identifying those, we also realized that we should continually curate these features bit by bit, because we want them to be also still having high quality and still being approachable, and the developer's experience on each of them is maximum, right? And what we have this ever-changing React ecosystem that pushes. Well, not pushes, but I mean, it's something here that, like a little devil that say, hey, you know what, this big thingy, and it works well, and the developer experience is so great, maybe you should implement it. And yeah, you also always have this devil in this, lately in the JavaScript wall or ecosystem, right? So what's ahead? So there are some topics that this devil is telling you here that you should do that, or you should at least try. Maybe it's better. Maybe it works better. So I want to go all through them, right? Again, it's nothing that Volto doesn't work well now, or something that we should really do, because if not, Volto is going to die. No, it's nice things that we can do and we can address, and that I wanted also to explain to you which are. So yeah, I tried to list them here. First one is React 18. React 18 is out. I don't know how much is out already, like 6 months, whatever. So yeah, a lot of buzz around React 18. I will talk a little bit briefly. Then routing, server-side rendering, data fetching, global state handling, reusing components, and build modernization. And I want to go through this list and explain you a little bit what we have to at least take a look, evaluate, and if it's worth or not, and yeah, and maybe take action. So first, about React, what happened in React lately. So React 18 is out. React 18 is, for those that you know, the version that they say that is going to be the concurrent version. So React 18, they promised, and I say they promised because they still haven't fulfilled the full promise. So they are almost there, but it's been years since they have been saying, yeah, we're almost there and everything. But the truth is that they still haven't delivered the most important part that Volto could improve. I mean, I could really take advantage of, but I will come to that in a bit. Then it has the next suspense SSR architecture, which is this promised land that you can also have suspense not only on the client. So yeah, because as I said, React 18 promises that it's concurrent, so every component can not halt the rendering of other components, but it can say, hey, I will wait, and then the other component continues rendering, and React 18 is able to do that through suspense. But this happens on the client, and is the typical example that you see the component loading with a spinner, whatever, and all of a sudden, well, the component starts, finish rendering, then the data pops and then the component shows. Not this, but they also promise, and they still didn't deliver, the new suspense SSR architecture. So that is so that you know that we have the SSR rendering on the first request in Volto. So every time that you do the first request, the server-side render shoots, which is the node process that is running with Volto. This is needed for CEOs and other social media. How it's called? The thing is that appear when you paste a link somewhere, and then so with React 18, when it's completely there, we'll be able to do that the same as now it does in the client, but on the server-side rendering. So with streaming the request, it will be able to say, no, I'm going to give you what I have available for you now, but wait a little bit because this component is telling me that needs something, and when it's ready, I will tell you. And then when this component is ready, it's able to send the chunk on SSR, and then the client get the chunk and put it when it belongs. Right? And this is, I think this will be huge, and we can have a huge advantage in Volto server-side rendering. The same for server components. Server components are another technology that the React team has promised. It's not there, only POCs, here and there. But it's also very impressive. So the gist here is that you can have components that only runs on the server. And why is this important? How we can get advantage of it? So, for example, in data fetching, we can have a component that only runs on the server, and then when the server, so the data fetch happens in the server, and then only when it's ready, it will be sent to the client. And also the code is never on the client. So the server only takes care of getting the HTML that this component has resolved. Right? And this is also a quite powerful feature that I think that we can take advantage of. Again, the React itself landscape is ever changing. It's continuously improving. The React ecosystem is stronger than ever. And yeah, with all these new tools that I told you, Next.js, Remix, and others. And there are new tools and libraries literally again, every single week, new thing is, hey. Yes. So what about routing? We have a slight problem that we are currently stuck with React Router 5. And this is because one thing, because we're using two other libraries that depends on it. This is not a problem. I mean, no, we are not able to go to the latest shiny React Router version. I mean, React 5 works well. React 6 is, has a little bit more features, but for all we need, our needs are covered. But we have this small limitation that might be an issue in the future, and we will have to take care of it at some point. These two libraries that depends on React Router 5 are the Async Connect library. The Async Connect is the library that is that takes care of the actual server-side rendering, and that when you request or you try to statically render the whole React tree, it gets in fact converted into HTML that is sent by the SSR server. Is the one that makes sure that it waits for all the promises, all the data fetching that is happening in our components, because if not, if we were not waiting for them, then we'll have empty components because, you know, async happening in Node. And this is, a key component that we need to take a look and to think about how to remove and replace it somehow in a fancy way. Then we have connected React Router, which is a library that is more a helper, and we've been using it since the very beginning. It's a library that gets the routes, the route info injected into the store, so you can always go to the store and say, hey, give me the route and give me the values because you have it always on the store. This one, we can get rid of it easily. In fact, I have a POC that, so we could remove it right away. Personally, I never used the store for accessing the routes information. What I do is to use React Router directly to get the information from the thinner. In functional components, you have use location and all the other helpers that React Router has. For class components, you have the with router HOC, which is also same handy as read it from the store. So I think that it won't be that of a problem to remove connected React query. But still, yeah, it's something that needs to be done. More about routings. Routing libraries have improved a lot lately, and that includes React Router 6, especially React Router 6.4, which I don't know if you know it, but the guys from React Router are the same guys from Remix. So in Remix, they implemented a very nice way of doing routes, and something that they call the data loaders. So they are able to load data, so do data fetching on routes. And this is very important, and this is something that we were lacking in Volto since not very long away, because we fixed that, I think, yeah, some months ago also. And this could be very handy for one and solely thing, which is to have the change of route synchronized with the data loading. And since not that much ago in Volto, you changed the route, and the route was quickly changed to the next route, but the data was delaying a little bit, or if your network was delaying a little bit, then you saw a flash of content of the old content with the new one. And we don't want that. We want that the route change waits until the data is loaded. Then once everything's settled and it's there, then go ahead. And the route is loaded with the appropriate data, right? React Router 6.4 can help with that. There are other options like Tanstack Router, which is the same developer than React Query and others. So yeah, maybe worth to take a look as well. Modern frameworks, as I said, have introduced very interesting ways of routing that we could also take advantage of. Remix and Next.js could be that Remix is porting more and more things to React Router. So yeah, we can keep an eye on it. So just in case that we can take advantage as well. This also links with Async Connect, because the fix that I just told you for synchronizing the change of route with the data coming from the store, we implemented this it as an Async Connect hack. So if we remove Async Connect, we're going to lose that. So we have to replace it with one of these things before. So yeah, a little bit of these features are kind of intertwined, but yeah, I mean, all are more or less dependent one of each other. More about server-side rendering. We think that we need to modernize a little bit the architecture, because it got a little bit outdated, and simplify it. Removing Async Connect will help, because it's obsolete. Nobody maintains it. In fact, we have to adapt it. Now it's in core Volto, and only works with React version 5. I already have a POC, because I was playing one day to remove Async Connect, remove connected React Router, use React Query instead in the SSR side. It works well. We'll have to do a little bit of adjustments, but at the end, I think that it will get a better and more flexible option. We can also mix that with matching routes. So the same way that we are doing now asynchronous, we say, no, I want that in this route, I get this data, so I have it in SSR, and it's available on SSR time. I think we can do almost the same. And then wait for the new suspense SSR architecture for React 18. Will be also great to have it also in place. Then about global state handling, this is something that we can also tweak and improve a little bit. The paradigm of global state handling in Redux has changed a bit. I mean, we are using that, but the world is moving in other direction, so someone separate what is server state and the libraries that manage the server state versus the app state, and this is where Redux excels, right? So keeping the app state up to date so you can access, you can modify it, everything. But this server state, having it done by Redux, which is what we do now, started to be a little bit cumbersome, and we found its limitations. And as I said, there are some libraries that now are doing exclusively server state and takes care of a lot of things for you, and so you don't have to. And the truth is that the 90% of the time we're doing server state in Redux. And I think we can improve that. At least is, yeah, my personal feeling. Yeah, other members of the Volto team also feel like me. We can, still a lot of things to try, things to explore, to experiment, but I think that we should also explore this way of doing data fetching at the end in Volto. So for that, I think that React Query is great in that regard, that is able to take care, yeah, and we'll go to the next one. So React Query is able to take care of aborting requests, of caching, because in fact React Query, the nice thing that it introduced is that the state, the server state, is not only something that you save somewhere, but it's something that is cacheable, right? And because it's what it is. I mean, I go to a page, then I navigate into another page, but I go back to this page, and now we're doing the request again, only 5 seconds after. Most probably this initial page haven't changed, so we can, I mean, the idea of caching in server state, I mean, is quite powerful. With React Query, you can invalidate, you can, yeah, as I said, abort, do whatever you want, make several requests at a time. It's quite nice, and I played with it, and yeah, I'm totally sold to React Query. I don't know if there's someone that doesn't, but I mean, something worth to explore, as I said. Then if we have this in place, we can also remove async connect. And at the same time, make it work with suspense SSR architecture that come in React 18, and the normal suspense for clients, because React Query already is aware of suspense. Reusable components. Another thing that we have in mind is, okay, if we are going to do our Next.js version of Volto, or the remix one, we need the components to be portable, right? Now the Volto components are in the core Volto itself, so the package is huge. It has a lot of dependencies out of it. So we don't want to depend on Volto just for using another framework and only use a couple of components here and there. So one of the things that we are exploring also is that start thinking into extract the components to their own add-ons, release those add-ons, so if people need them, go there and use them in other frameworks or in other apps, I don't know. The same for the request. So here I put the word unconnected. So the components in Volto normally are connected to the store because they have to get things from the store, right? But some components are connected to the store just for what we said, server state. So, and then extract them is kind of difficult because you have to unconnect them, then export the not connected thingy because maybe the other framework that is using doesn't have Redux installed, don't care really about that, or is already using React Query, or yeah, whatever thing, right? So by moving things to, especially the server state, to things like React Query will help with that, because then we won't need a lot of components hooked into the store just because of data fetching, and you could use also React Query on the other side. Completely transparent, right? Only by knowing which props are coming, there will be enough, right? Yeah, then another thing that we've been asked a lot is the ability to extract the Pastanaga editor out of it. So the editor for the blocks, what if someone wants to include it somewhere else? We could able to do that if we go all this way and we finally extract things, which will also be nice. What about builds? Our build is based on Reusable. If you know, it's a boilerplate library that allows us to do projects out of it. So these projects rely on core Volto, then we can build applications on it. I mean, you know, in this time as well, yeah, React ecosystems. Yeah, Vite, no, I like more this compiler, and yeah, I wrote my Rust compiler, which is the case of SWC, which is the compiler for Next.js, and it's super fast, and it's great, and whatever. And then another comment say, no, I built AES build because, yeah, whatever, just to have another one. So there are a lot of new compilers and new builders out there that could be worth to explore, and if we can integrate it, maybe into Reusable itself, maybe in another boilerplate that we find, who knows, yeah, something worth to explore as well. We have, regarding the packagers, the package managers, we are using Yarn Classic right now in Volto. After the conference, we will merge a PR that will enable Yarn 3 work for Volto, which is up to date and it's better, whatever. And eventually, what we really like in the Volto team is PNPM, and we probably will explore going there at some point. So first, we will update Yarn, so we'll have an up-to-date version going in Volto 16, but the next time, we will explore PNPM because it's quite nice. It has very nice features. It will force us to review all the dependencies that we have there, declare them properly because they're quite strict with that. But it will be, at the end, profitable for the overall project. Then features. Yeah, all what you were waiting for, what we have in store. So I will say that the main features that we have are these ones, and I will talk about them. First of all, a new theming architecture. Why we need that? All through these years, one of the main concerns or the main questions that we had is, what if I need to implement a theme in Bootstrap because, like the Red Turtle folks that they work for the town halls in Italy, then these town halls pushes for a very explicit design system that is based on Bootstrap, right? So what happens now? And I mean, one of the things that I really think we have to put effort on is to get in a way that we have something like this. So we have the separation of the theme, so you can put any framework, any design system at the very top for anonymous. Then common styling that can come from the CMS UI. We all know, what's the separation between CMS UI and these small things that you need also in the theme. For example, forms for widgets, things like that. So we could have this small subset of the CMS UI that is common, and it will only be loaded in anonymous. And then when you are logged in, lazy load the CSS for the CMS UI, where you have also something that is not tied to anything, really. And yeah, I'm not saying that we're going to build this from scratch, but we have to find a sane way to define our CMS UI that is supported, that we can build on it, that it's not tied to anything, because one of the bad habits that now have the frameworks in the React world at least is that they come with their own theming system, which is wrong, which is, I use Emotion and the other uses style components, and no, I have my own with Google thingies and things like that. So find a good agnostic front end. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged design system because we only want it for the CMS UI, but that has the basics that we can build upon, and then have this small bundle that only has the CMS UI, CSS, and the components that that have it on it. Yeah. Also, it's important when we build this thing that the CSS doesn't leak in that direction or the other way around. So we will have to make them very specific so this doesn't happen, but totally doable, right? Then we have Quanta. Quanta is the new design system by Albert Casado that provides this sleek, modern look to Volto. We have it for some time already. It's kind of there waiting, yeah, when are you going to implement me? Didn't have time in the last years, but is there. It's nice. I think it's amazing, especially in some points with block handling and things like that. We need at some point to make it happen. Probably since it will be a breaking change, same for the theme, new theme architecture. Probably will happen in Plone 7. We will have to decide when this will happen, when this is ready. But I will let you know that we are already preparing with Rob a sprint where Albert doesn't know anything about it, but it's going to be at, at his house in Girona. But yeah, anyways, sorry, Albert. So we can have this, the Quanta over the new theme architecture with the Quanta toolbar, which I think it will be huge also. Regarding that, we already have a POC about to put today, the Quanta toolbar into Volto. It's waiting. We'll have to decide when we want to push for the Quanta toolbar. Could be, or if that we push it before Quanta happens, because it's something that we think that it will be quite useful, because we are all the time finding places to have more CMS UI real estate in the screen to place actions and play things. And then the Quanta toolbar will be, so every block will have a Quanta toolbar, and then you'll have actions there like new block, delete, copy, mutate, things like that. So it could be that it happened before. If it's for me, it will, but yeah, maybe I will find some resistance to that, but we'll see. It could be kind of breaking as well. So yeah. Then implement the design system, something that we've been doing bit by bit, and this is a very good sprint topic. We've shown the Storybook at some point in some talk here and there that we have for Volto. It will be great to have that Storybook completed at some point. So every time that we do a new feature or new component, we go there, write the Storybook to show it at the documentation and have it ready for people to play with it if they have it available there. Next thing are slots. Slots is something, that is quite controversial, but I think personally that it could be great to have it as just another tool for building websites. I don't know if you know it about slots, something that Tiberio has worked a lot on it. It's also almost ready. Maybe I'm lying there, but it's almost there. It's a mix between viewlets and portlets. It uses the all tiles anywhere concept. And I told David the other day that I read a post that he wrote a long time ago about, and it struck me back in the day because he was showing how to render a tile randomly. I don't know where it was, but probably a footer or something. So this tile appear in the future, and from the edit, I mean, you could edit the tile in place and add whatever you want, save that tile, and it was in the footer. I mean, and I thought, oh, crap, we need this. And having the ability that the tiles were far more lightweight than portlets, and you can put it everywhere, so it opens a little bit the mind for that, for me. And it's precisely what Slots wants to accomplish, right? I mean, Slots will be inevitable, it will be extremely lightweight, it will contain blocks, and that's the key feature. So what a slot will contain? Blocks, because it's the atomic content, minimum atomic content, amount of content we have in Volto, right? And then it could be assigned statically or backend defined, and this is what Tiberio has worked on that. I think that the backend is more or less ready. What we need is a UX, good UX for that. And this is something that we have to work a little bit, maybe have feedback from designers, from Albert, from someone that can bring us a good UX for that. And finishing, features, more features, random features that I think that we should also approach, and are also very good sprint topics. Please, the first 3 ones, if someone wants to help, I will be highly appreciated. We have the PR for the row grid column group block already in the list of PRs. It's halfway. Maybe someone can take care of it. Could be that I work a little bit on it, especially in the teaser block. Let's see if we can make it happen for 16 still. Then another thing that goes tight with the first one is the ability to drag and drop between nested blocks. So let's say that we have a block in the mainstream of blocks, the main content area, but then all of a sudden I have a row or grid block. And then the ability to move blocks between the nested block and the main content blocks, right? And also between row or grid blocks. So I want to move this into that. So we need this because now this is not supported by the current drag and drop system that we have. There's also a small POC. It's very rough. Someone needs also to polish and finish it. So please, if you want it, it will be amazing to have in Volto 16. Relations control panel. This is something that we will also come in the next versions. Improve the transform run detection based on agnostic markers. This is something that we've been after a lot. We have transforms in place that gets some fields because they are named. There fields that are named, I don't know, for example, href or URL. Those fields automatically gets transformed, but it will be great to have a way to mark them and say, no, this field and this field and this field is going to get the Resolve UID transform on it. Same for our other transforms that are in place. And this is something that we really, I think, this is something that we want to have in the near future to be more flexible into that. More things quickly. Subscribe able context for every block, so for widgets especially. So we have the block configuration widgets, and every widget is blind. It doesn't know what other widgets has up and down, right? And at some point, we needed the ability that a widget knows with what value has another widget in that form, right? And this is also something that we are missed. So if we could make some kind of subscribable context for every block, so you can say, hey, I'm a widget and I know to know which my siblings are, and getting the value and know and act upon depending on other widgets' value. Then another thing that we have in mind is use a full-fledged JSON schema form generation that it's not built by us, because we also found that we need validation at some point, for sure, at some point. And we need also same defaults, because now, the defaults in the block settings, there are some rough edges and not always work as expected. So we think that the best thing is that at some point we get a good JSON schema generation library, place them in there. We don't care more about that functionality. Then another wish list, item of the wish list is to rework the object browser and improve its API and features, because right now, after 4 years, it got a little bit Frankenstein. To be honest, I mean, it's good, it works, but developing new things for it has become a little bit cumbersome. Last one, so work on alternative backends. We have Guillotina all these years. Please give Guillotina some love, because, I mean, it's still a valid use case, at least from my point of view. And it's something that Volto supports. We have Nick now also made by Rob. Please go to his talk. It will be awesome. I can assure you. It blew my mind. And one thing is that what Guillotina at the beginning, so many years ago, said, hey, it's possible to build a compatible backend in a reasonable amount of time. Rob made it happen, and it's the proof that we could have made it happen, not only in the JavaScript side, where Node.js side, which Rob did, but also on the Python side. So it's there. And thanks a lot for being here.
We have time for one question. No? Okay.
Thank you. Has anybody worked with left-to-right input languages in Volto? I'm thinking Arabic languages and input from left-to-right languages within Volto. Has anybody done that?
Not that I'm aware of. Someone has worked on it, or had the ability, or had the requirement. Not us, that's for sure. Maybe Retsu. Yes, works well. I mean, in your Volto sites, I guess that it works well, right? Yeah.
Did I say left to right? I meant right to left. I'm just
Yeah. Do you have a culprit in mind, special culprit, or?
a special what?
No, culprit. I mean, since you mentioned it, do you know?
We're looking specifically at any Arabic language. We're supporting Uyghur Arabic language, and one of the things that we have in Plone 5 right now with Classic is an ability to enter text right to left, and then displaying it is not the problem. It's actually the entering. They're actually typing in Arabic, and it's a challenge among all CMS.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows about this, just come to me afterward. I need to solve this one.
Okay, thank you.
I have until 12:20. Yeah.
Check. Yes, so 30 minutes.
Okay, so I should go ahead and start.
Okay, so next